Larry Barker is back again here in the KRQE News 13 digital studio. Larry, thanks for being here.
You bet, Chris.
And you have just completed a recent investigation into sort of what I've dubbed New Mexico ticket scalping. Spans a lot of different types of events and different venues here in the state. So let's just start off with that. How widespread of a problem is just the 500,000 foot view, 200,000 foot view?
Well,
how big of a problem is this?
This is not a New Mexico problem. This is a national problem across the country, and I have seen estimates as a multi-billion-dollar industry, billion with a B.
Wow,
that's how much money is involved in ticket scalping across the country.
Yeah, and what we mean by ticket scalping, essentially, right, is people buying up tickets and selling them for far greater than the original sale value, all to scrape that profit off the top and sort of operating a business. It's not just, so to speak, hey, I can't make the show. I've only bought, one ticket for this one event and I'm trying to resell it. These are people who are making a lot of money, a business off of this, right?
That's right. These are websites that are set up specifically for ticket scalping. They'll go into a venue, they'll buy up a blocks of tickets at face value, and then mark them up incredibly, as much as a 1,000%. I mean, it's hard to believe, but it's very common, very common. You see it on the screen, a seat, one ticket to the upcoming performance of Hamilton. There was a website, it's selling for, it's a $300 seat at Popejoy. You buy it from a scalper, you'll pay as much as $2,700 for that one seat.
Wow. So we know scalping, of course, it's not a new problem, right? People might be hearing this and be like, where are these guys talking about it now? But really the big issue here now, why we're highlighting this problem, is because of what we expect will be a pretty big show in New Mexico, right? Hamilton is coming here. This is a show that's been put off since essentially the pandemic started for several years now. It's finally coming to Albuquerque for this traveling show, long awaited, a lot of performances. And what you're seeing online, as you mentioned, right, these are markups that are happening between seemingly 8 to 10, 11 times the original value of the seat.
That's right. Hamilton has been postponed twice, and it is scheduled for early May now, and I'm sure it will go. But it's greatly anticipated. This is the first time the Tony Award-winning show, Hamilton, has come to New Mexico. So this is really a big deal.
Yeah.
It's a big deal for New Mexico. It's a big deal for Popejoy. And the tickets are going fast. But it's an incredible show. I've not seen it myself, but it's one of the biggest shows on Broadway and has been for a number of years.
Yeah. So, those markups that you'd mentioned, they are happening now. I wanted to ask you a kind of perspective from the venues, right? And I think you touched on this a little bit in the story, but I wanted to ask you, getting a sense of interviewing the folks from the Lenzik and the Popejoy, just two different venues here that deal very much and see what happens with the markups of these tickets. What were their feelings knowing that, this continues to happen? Did they feel that this is just sort of a nature of the business, or we got to do something to address this?
Well, it's, the venues, both Popejoy Hall, which is on the University of New Mexico campus, and the Lenzik Theater, which is in Santa Fe, these are nonprofit theaters.
Yeah.
The Popejoy is run by the University of New Mexico. They don't make a profit on Hamilton or any of the other shows. It's expensive to bring a Broadway show to New Mexico, and Hamilton is particularly a very expensive show. And so when you pay Popejoy for that ticket, you're really paying for the costs of bringing the show here.
Yeah.
The difference with a scalper is these are for-profit websites, and they are just out to gouge you. I mean, I'm not exaggerating here. You are being gouged if you buy a ticket. If you buy a $180 ticket and end up paying $1,700 for that ticket, you are being gouged.
Yeah.
It's incredible. These scalping websites, and there's dozens of them, will gouge you.
Yeah.
But it's all about the money. It's just all about the money.
You mentioned in your story a little bit of a conversation with now Senator Mo Maestas of the New Mexico legislature. Spent many years as a representative, of course. Now a senator, having been appointed to an open seat. But Senator Maestas, did he convey perhaps an appetite to you to maybe look back into addressing this? Because as you mentioned in your story, 2007 was the last attempt at bringing a bill out that would maybe address scalping related to entertainment events. There's nothing on the books that says right now you can't sort of do that in New Mexico law. So is there an appetite, do you think, from lawmakers to address this?
Well, yes, I think there's a big incentive for legislation. A number of states do have anti-scalping laws. Now, New Mexico has an anti-scalping law. However, the law prohibits the scalping of tickets to New Mexico athletic events. That is, you cannot scalp a Lobo basketball ticket.
Right.
For more than its face value.
Yeah.
However, you can scalp an entertainment ticket or a concert ticket, and the sky's the limit. So that's just some background. So New Mexico does not have an anti-scalping law that relates to entertainment, sporting events. So back in 2007, now Senator Maestas did introduce a bill to prohibit scalping in New Mexico. It was resoundingly defeated, and it was defeated by the industry. They flew in lobbyists from all over the country to kill that bill, and they were successful. It never went anywhere.
Yeah.
So today, I believe Senator Maestas does have a bill introduced in this legislature to deal with scalping. Now, how it will do, it's hard to predict.
Yep.
But we are talking about a major industry, the ticket scalping industry. And anytime a jurisdiction like New Mexico tries to outlaw their practices, the industry has big bucks, and they will come into the state and they will try to defeat it. It's that's just the way it is.
Yeah.
So does the bill have a chance? Does anti-scalping have a chance in New Mexico? Maybe.
Yeah. To some degree, this problem feels long-standing, and when we consider the idea of that bill, it sort of feels very questionable as to whether or not it may or may not move forward. So I think some people can feel maybe that this situation is sort of hopeless. Did you get a sense from any of the folks that you talked to that perhaps there is a solution out there toward this problem?
Well, yeah, and it's pretty easy, is don't fall prey to the scalpers. If you want a ticket at a reasonable price, you buy it from the venue. In this case, it's Pope Joy Hall, which is popejoypresents.org, I believe, is the website for Pope Joy Hall. If you just Google Hamilton Pope Joy Hall, the first couple dozen hits will all be ads, and they'll all be scalper sites. And they use web sites with names like Hamilton.popejoy.com discount tickets or Albuquerque, Popejoy, Hamilton tickets.
Yeah.
Things like that. And they're designed to deceive you, to think that you are dealing with Popejoy, you're dealing with a scalper.
Yeah.
So first thing you do is when you go online looking for tickets, and if it says an ad, it's not Popejoy Hall. And there are dozens of these.
Yeah. What do you hope people get out of this story ultimately in the end? Because clearly you've highlighted this is a continuous problem. It's not so many, it's for sure fire solutions out there. But what do you hope people get out of this story?
I think most importantly is education, is buyer beware.
Okay.
If you want to buy an entertainment ticket, and it's not just theater, concerts and major sporting events. If you want to go to a Cowboys game or a Broncos game, I can guarantee you the scalpers will be scalping those tickets.
Yeah.
So it's not just theater tickets. Any concert, any sporting event, any theater production is going to be a target for scalpers. Is just don't buy. I mean, right now, what they do is legal.
Right.
Is it right? No.
Yeah.
It's scamming the public. So buyer beware. If you really want to go see Hamilton, there are some tickets available. It's in May, and I think they're going to be here about 3 weeks.
Yeah. Big show.
There are still some tickets available. Probably not a lot, but buyer beware. If you buy from a scalper, you're going to be gouged.
Yeah.
Now, they do a number of interesting things. First off, if you go to their website, you'll see that they have the cost of the ticket, and they'll put that on the site. You can see it right now. But then they'll add a number of fees. For example, they'll put just an administration fee, which can be as much as $300, $400, $500 per ticket. So if you buy 2 tickets, you're going to pay 2 service charges.
Yeah.
And oftentimes, those scalper sites do not disclose what the service fees are until you give them a credit card. They'll say, here's the ticket price plus service fee.
Wow.
But you don't know what the service fee is, and we've seen it as high as $500-600 per seat, per ticket. And then they will also charge
That is terrible.
taxes.
Yeah.
But the taxes they charge are entirely bogus.
Yeah.
We've seen they'll sell a ticket for $1,000 and charge you $100 in taxes. Well, taxes are not $100 on a $1,000 ticket. It's just not. So that's bogus.
Yeah.
You're just being gouged every way, and then they'll deliver your tickets to you electronically, and then charge you $10 to send them to you. So you're going to be hit with a lot of fees, some of which you won't know until you buy it, and it's just plain a scam.
Yeah.
But buyer beware.
Well, we appreciate you telling us about what to look out for and just some of the really high prices that are out there that these scalpers are using right now. Larry, thank you for doing this story.
You bet, Chris.
What's a good way if people can reach you?
Best way is through the website, krqe.com. We always love hearing from viewers. If they got a tip on something that needs to be investigated, let us know.
Okay. Larry Barker, thank you very much.
Thanks, Chris.